Very him a little bit behind.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Scratch.
Where's Ange?
She's had hopefully
Very him a little bit behind.
oh,
Scratch.
Where's Ange?
she's had hopefully
he'll be here. He'll be here.
Didn't hear me last week though.
No, it took Derek's spot.
Yeah, where's Derek gonna
Should test Phil's mic.
Let's test and see if Phil can hear us.
I can
Or
hear
if he
you.
can,
Can you
we
hear
can
me?
hear him. 'Cause we couldn't hear Ann last.
You know what was funny though, Ann? When
Can
I
you hear me?
watched last meeting, I could hear you on YouTube, but I couldn't hear you here.
I think it says something to do with the volume here, obviously.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? No?
There, your light's on, your flashlight.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Thank you. I'm
Sorry,
looking for
Phil,
the
we
magic
can't-
button to turn it off.
Are the speakers all right?
Oh, watertight. Wrapped. I was gonna, oh yeah.
Asked to unmute, but he tried to talk when he wasn't muted.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Who says I can hear you, but it sounds like you can't hear me?
We can't hear him.
I just wonder if it's our speakers, you know?
How would he be coming
Is
through?
this, wait, is this off? Oh, try again, Phil.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Can you turn him up?
We
I
on
did.
record?
Hopefully I didn't do too much. And we're recording.
All right. All right. I'll call to order this. That sounds a little feedback-ish, doesn't it? Maybe it's just my mic.
Right there.
That speaker right there.
Turn it around, face you. See if that helps. Did
Sorry,
we replace some stuff? Maybe it's just up higher than usual.
They haven't yet.
Okay, I'll just keep it a little farther away from it.
Okay. But I
All
just turned up the volume for Phil, so maybe that's.
Let's call to order this regular meeting of the Pleasant View City Council this January 25th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Welcome, everybody. We usually have one person here, so this is nice to. And I know you're not going to be here for the entire meeting, but it's good to have some people here. So we'll start by the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer reading or expression of thought by Councilmember Gibson.
Audience, please rise and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're indeed thankful for this opportunity we have to come as friends and neighbors and to the city council. Father, as we make decisions today, we ask that we'll be able to do those with a purpose of community and our future in mind. Help us to be inspired on what to do and how to affect good here in our community. We ask a special blessing to be with our police department and firefighters and all those on staff. They'll be safe and protected as they help us to keep this Pleasant View a wonderful place to live and to raise our families. Thankful for the mayor and his hard work. And we say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. All right, declaration of conflicts of interest. Has everybody had a chance to review the agenda, and does anybody have a conflict? All right, great. Seeing none, we'll move to comments or questions for the mayor or council. Anybody wish to address the mayor or council? For the public, seeing none, we'll move to the consent items, which is the minutes of December 28th, 2021 and January 11th, 2022. Any corrections or changes?
On page 4 at the top, the
Which one?
voting, on page 4 of the packet, sorry. At the top, it said 3-0, but it was actually 3-2, the vote.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent items for, is there a date on those? All the consent items.
Consent items, good. Okay.
A second.
Motion by Marriott, second by Harrington. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. First item of business. This is why everybody's here. Presentation, I better call it officially on the agenda. Present appreciation to Kevin Bailey, outgoing city council member. And he is an outgoing city council member. You know, Kevin has not only served this community faithfully and very well as a city councilman, both prior, when he was in the 2000s, I don't know, 2000, whatever it was, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm not really sure. Mid 2000s. Anyway, and just recently, but he's served the community very well in all aspects of his life. And, you know, everybody knows he's my best friend, so I could just speak volumes of what a great man he is. But on behalf of the city, and not just on behalf of Leonard, wish to thank you for your service. Thank Christy for letting him serve. That's an important part. It does take time. It does take some frustrations. I'm sure he shared some of those frustrations with you. I do with Charlene. So it's we can't make everybody happy, and we don't intend to make everybody happy. And Kevin's been able to get along great with all the city council people, the staff, and the community. And again, thank you for all you've done for the community, not just as a city council member, but all the other things you contribute. We have a plaque for you, and I'm not sure actually if the dates are correct. Are the dates correct? Did you research those days?
We can redo it.
Didn't he fill a 2-year term?
This last term.
You have it as a 4-year.
So it would
We're going to
be
present this
January
really nice plaque for you, and then we're going to redo it. So it would have been
It
would have been January 2020 to December 2021. Is that
wouldn't have been
correct?
19?
No, because it was sworn in after the election.
Yeah.
For 2 years. So
Same as me.
and yeah, I just noticed that, and I was going to read the plaque. Yeah, but we'll present it to you, get pictures and all that kind of great stuff, and then we'll turn it back in and get a real one. This here, I wish Dave Wade was here. Maybe he's on YouTube. These hold special meaning to me, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I had just been elected on the city council and was sitting in the audience one November, and Dave Wade was one of the city council members, and I don't remember what maybe Laurie does, but don't remember what was being discussed or anything, but I remember he got super, super mad, pulled this out of his holder, broke it in half and threw it, and left. And he was very frustrated. And he went home and told his wife he was through, he'd quit, and and she freaked out. Mainly because she thought he had quit. How are we going to make it? She thought he'd quit his fire department job. Council, not so much. Yes, okay, whatever. But, you know, he thought long and hard and came back. And another man who served the city very, very faithfully. But the reason that means so much to me is he keeps that. He actually keeps it on his desk. Not because he's a city council member, but because of what it represents. Now, to him, it represents more than just spending time on the city council. To him, it represents, because he'll sit there and go like this with it, sliding it back and forth and back and forth, and of bringing two pieces together. And to him, it was like, and we've talked many times about bringing community together, and you know what it really means to serve on the city council. And So I know this is just a cheap piece of plastic, but we want you to have it and want you to think about all the times that you have brought people together with the city to serve the people. That's what we're here for, is to solve their problems. I know you were a big advocate for the little guy and for those that needed the help of our city. And I really appreciate that, because that's my philosophy, and I'm glad you share that philosophy with me. So anyway, I don't know where we should. Let's go down there. That's our
Sarah, you need to be in these pictures too. So.
pictures.
Oh.
That's why you wore your.
Oh, yes. No.
He's trying to block us. You will not be blocked.
We're going to give you a city council member a chance to say something. We're going to get
Second.
Just one. I mean, that's all we need.
1, 2, 3. I mean, we'll get them all. No pressure.
All of you guys should go up there with one. Come on up, so here, take a picture of all you guys. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlotte.
I didn't even think about it. I better sit down really quick.
How the real pictures.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, that's- I can't see a camera.
And Phil, since his virtual, I failed to mention our new city council member is joining us through Zoom. He's had an exposure, so we appreciate him not chancing it.
We wish you were here that long.
Sharing it with the rest.
Hey, we'll start with Steve. Steve, and just work our way up here. If you got anything you'd like to say.
Well, I said everything last, a little while ago. Nothing but the best. I echo everything that the mayor said. You have been that voice of reason and fairness and just, like minds, it's easy to get along with, I think. But thank you. Thank you for our friendship and that developing friendship going from nothing to I can really call you a friend as well. Maybe not best friend. I can't take that from the mayor, but you and your wife both. And it's been fun to see her up here sitting in the back supporting you. So I give thanks to you as well. So anyway, and you're not done. You've got the Veterans Memorial. You've got breakfast to cook for the next 20, 30 years. So and Santa to be. So get growing that beard. You got to catch up with. I feel a little naked
Your
here.
son's beards are impressive. They're awesome.
Anyway.
Oh, that's their son. I just thought that was. I saw this Tennessee shirt and saw the beards. I thought we have visitors straight from Tennessee.
I'm glad we haven't seen Angie with the beard yet. So I too like to echo what everybody said, but Kevin, you've just been a mentor, a great neighbor and friend, and appreciate all that you've done and on the city council, what you've taught me here, and the things that you've done, and all of you, the whole family, have been really impressive and a big influence in my life, and appreciate that.
I said a lot last time that I'll just reiterate what everyone has also said, but I mentioned last time that Kevin's always been somebody I've looked up to and have a tremendous amount of respect for, and take his advice and his counsel with the most, respect. And it means a lot when Kevin mentions something and says something. I take it to heart, and I've enjoyed being with him and Christy and doing all these activities. And I've known you guys for a long time, and I just really, really love you. And I'm so glad you're not going far away. But we'll miss having you here and bringing that point of view and that side that we all need to be aware of and be sensitive to. So I really appreciate you, and I've learned so much from you.
Kevin, it's been a privilege. It really has. And I've enjoyed sitting next to you. I can't remember if I said this last time, but we call ourselves Stockton to Malone a lot, right? We're like, one person will take care of it, right? And anyway, so but I really have enjoyed serving with you, and you served twice. Like, what's the matter with you? No, that says what kind of person you are, is that you give back to the community, and you're warm and inviting. And when you're around Kevin Bailey, he always makes you feel like $1,000,000, and you make everybody feel like that. So it's been a pleasure. And thank you for all your dedicated service.
Phil, I don't want to leave you out. I know you probably don't know Kevin like we do, but
No, the only thing I'll add is, Kevin, if you want to come back, there's still an open seat up there if you want to jump on. No, I appreciate the chance to fill the seat. So thanks.
thank you.
And just a quick note from staff, we really, really enjoyed working with you thoroughly. Thank you for your support of staff.
Now, Kevin, if you would like to say something, you're welcome to, or you don't have to. I hate to put you on the spot, but
State your name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I have loved serving in Pleasant View City Council, and had it not just been for a few events, I'd probably still be here. Maybe, I don't know. Phil's a pretty powerful guy. He probably would have beat me in the election, but I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm excited to still be involved. I'm not going to go far. I'll still be here, so we'll be way involved in Founders Day and helping any way we can. So just maybe a note to other citizens there's citizens in our community. As much as I love everyone, there are those that like to gripe and complain, and I would certainly encourage them to come and take a try at this, because it's you learn a lot. And in the 4 years combined with the 2 terms that I served, I learned so much about just people and the community and how city government works, and how sometimes it doesn't work, and try to fix it the best we can. But it really takes the whole city. And just a reminder that those that sit on the city council and even the mayor are tools for the citizens. So I've tried to remember that and try to keep that in mind, but just we need to be problem solvers and not problem causers. So thank you so much for your kind words. I love you all and appreciate you. Thank you.
thank you, Kevin. All right, thanks everybody. And obviously we're going to go through the rest of the agenda, and you're free to leave if you'd like to, because I would understand it 100%.
Free to stay too.
I'm not sure. Did Kevin just call us all tools?
That's what I was thinking.
He likes tools.
What?
Bye, Shar.
Oh, you do have to
Want to
stay.
hang out?
You have to stay.
I can't.
All right, item 2. Yeah. Public hearing, discussion of possible action to consider repealing Chapter 18.30, the C3 zone ordinance, a commercial zone, from the Municipal Code Ordinance 2022-1. Jill.
Need to
Okay.
open the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, I guess we ought to open a public hearing.
I'll make a
first.
motion that we open the public hearing for ordinance 2022-1.
Second that motion.
Hey, motion by Arrington, second by Yuri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? We're in a public hearing. Now, Jill.
All right. So in the event that we're trying to clean up the ordinances, we repealed the C1 and C2, the old versions, and that's what the 18.28 code was replacing. It also replaces this one. I missed it, or else we would have had it all repealed at once. The goal is to, again, clean up our ordinances. Those that were supposed to be repealed, we never got the chance to get that done, so we're now trying to clean everything up. There's currently no C3 zone out there that's within this zone. And going forward, we're trying to make our zones a little bit more friendly for developers and residents to understand what's in there and to be able to read it clearly, know what is expected, what's allowed, what's not, because some of these older ones are outdated. Some of the words aren't even valid anymore. So that's one reason why we're trying to repeal that, or we're requesting to have the 1830, the C3 repealed, and also the next one, which is the it's the
M2.
1834, and it's the M2, the manufacturing zone.
And Jill, if you don't mind if I just add one clarification on this. So the ordinance that was initially approved had language in the intent language that these would be repealed. So this is something that's already kind of gone into motion. Yeah,
It was in the
Yeah.
works, just never finished.
cleaning it up. And so these really are no longer in effect because of that language, but this is more just completely remove them from the code.
It was just on the books. There's nothing that allows it in a general plan or future land use map.
Correct.
Nothing.
That's what I was going to ask, and I apologize for not asking it sooner or looking on the map. There is nowhere in the general plan that would
Correct.
allow for these anyway, correct? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, anybody wish to speak to this from the public? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Yuri, second by Mary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're back to the council. Council, any discussion, or Steve?
So Jill, maybe, I know, and so what's our new, is it C4 or what is the C?
So the
C2?
commercial then is the C1 and C2,
Okay,
and that's
so,
what we are currently using.
and I know this is obsolete, but is everything covered in those two new zones that,
Everything
that
that
would not
the goal
be,
was to go towards, yes. But anything that was already within that C3 that's now rezoned to something else, they're grandfathered in. So as long as that use doesn't change, they can still continue.
I just don't want to miss something
Well-
that I haven't looked at, necessarily.
I wouldn't say everything's covered, but everything,
That the city
Yeah.
was wanting in those areas.
because, we just had a proposal that we had to look at and say, well, where would this fit? And we might have to add something. I don't know. But, that could come up in the future because we haven't,
And that's kind of
100%.
how
It's like,
ordinances
oh,
work.
wow.
We want to be able to.
We'll see if it fits in
look
one
at
of these
everything,
and-
'cause down the road, things change.
So if I want to have a
plan.
honey extraction business in the C2, is that going to be allowed in some of those?
More in the manufacturing end. So it's in a different zone, not necessarily C1 and C2, but
It's just in here under the candy manufacturing.
So that's something that could be added, but in a different zone.
Dance halls,
That's in C1 and C2. C2.
2 and I think C3.
Anyway, cleaning house is wonderful, and I think we need to do that, but I don't want
clean it too much.
to. Maybe. I don't know.
I know.
So the
This is one of
provisions
those-
in this zone are actually allowed in other zones that we currently have.
90% of them,
Yes.
yes.
So what made the C3 stick
Going-
out?
Going through a lot of these older ordinances and reading, especially the C1, C2, the 18.28, trying to make things very clear for developers.
Is there anybody right now that's utilizing the C3 zone?
I don't
I'm aware
think
of.
we have any.
Was it intended for manufacturing? What
The
zone?
M2 is geared towards
Manufacturing.
manufacturing, but we had the MP1
and
and
that's-
the MCM.
And that's all Parkland, right? Parkland's all C2.
Was this on the book?
Parkland's MCM. That's manufacturing mixed commercial, yes.
This existed before some of the manufacturings of the C1 and C2 were amended.
The old C1, C2, and the old C3 were.
And this just kind of was there when other zones took
Correct.
the place of it and made it more clean.
Correct. So we're constantly looking at the codes where we can update. So as you can tell, I've come through quite a few times with little things here, little things there. So that's one thing that we're constantly looking at.
And with the timeline, but this shift happened, I think, when all of that property off 2700 was rezoned commercial though, right? And it was to simplify the commercial zones And so there was a lot of in-depth research that went into those adjustments, and these were just kind of left hanging, but there was an intent, again, in that language to remove these, and this is just moving forward and finishing that.
It was always on the books. It just.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to repeal Chapter 18.30-C-3 zone according to the recommendation by staff.
Ordinance 2022-1.
22, yes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Uri, second by Marriott. Roll call vote. Oh, further discussion? Roll call vote. Arrington.
Yes.
Gibson. Yes. Marriott.
Yes.
Got married on here twice.
Yeah.
Uri
Yes.
and Nelson.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is a public hearing. Discussion possible action to consider repealing Chapter 18.34 M2 zone ordinance, manufacturing zone from the municipal code, ordinance 2022-2. Jill, well, let's enter our public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we go into a public hearing.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Marriott, second by Arrington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're in a public hearing. Jill.
Okay, this is another one of the older zones that we're requesting to be repealed. So the MP1 and the MCM did take care of the M2 zone. So it's an older manufacturing, and we've updated it with the MCM, the MP1, with doing that research. And again, the M2 is not even used at all, and it hasn't been used. So to kind of help clean the books of these older ones that the intent was to pull off anyway, that we just haven't yet, that's why it's before you now.
Very similar.
So what is the other manufacturing zone?
We have the MCM, which is the manufactured commercial mix zone, and then we have the MP1, which is really light industrial and other types of industrial.
They allow a lot of these things that are in the M-2 zone.
Some of them are a little bit more particular, with smells and certain things in the area, but it does allow for a lot of manufacturing and more up-to-date uses.
Feathers, felt fiber, fish, and film. Sorry.
Once again, no areas on the general plan that call for M2. Okay. Any members of the public wish to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Arrington, second by Uri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's back to the council. Council, any questions, concerns? Pretty much the same as just before. Ditto, right?
Ditto.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we repeal Chapter 18.34, the M2 zone ordinance, and approve ordinance 2022-2.
A second?
Second that motion.
Motion by Arrington, second by Uri. Further discussion? Okay. Roll call vote. Arrington.
Yes.
Gibson. Marriott.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
And Uri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Excuse me.
All right. Item 4 is a public hearing. Discussion possible action to consider amending the Chapter R5 zone ordinance addressing setbacks and uses. Ordinance 2022-3. Entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second that motion.
Motion by Marriott, second by Uri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we're in a public hearing. Jill.
Okay. So I'm hoping that you were able to look through your staff report because it had the original R5. And so this is what it will look like now. We've taken out all the lines that we would have would have been removed. We've added a lot of things that would make things clear and expectations very clear. And we've narrowed it down to really where Fox Meadows Phase 5 is, because we want to make a new patio home type of zone. So
Not this one.
Not
but a
this
different
one. We want to make it a little bit different to what will fit in a lot of other areas. with, the elevation, different sizes,
Like a
and
mountain,
things like that.
a mountain.
So we wanted to gear the R5 to where it is right now, which is Fox Meadows, and we've actually made some of the corrections because previously the correction there, it was referring to old code that we don't have anymore.
Make it more friendly for
Setbacks.
them.
Correct. So when residents come in, they can clearly look at that ordinance and say, okay, this is exactly what it is. It's very clear compared to what it was, and it allows for household pets, home occupations that weren't currently on there at the time. So we wanted to correct some of the R5 that would allow for residents to be able to have those amenities and be compliant, but also make some of the setbacks and everything else a lot clearer compared to what it was.
If I understand you correctly, the intent is to kind of close this up to make it help, to help Fox Meadows, and then we move forward with, looking at a different patio home zone for.
Yes, correct.
All right. Is there any members of the public that wish to address this? If not, I'd entertain a
Mayor, I'll
motion.
make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Marriott, second by Arrington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Back to the council. Council, any questions?
So does the R5 zone already exist? Is it that Fox Meadows is an R5 right now? Okay.
Isn't that the only one?
That is the only location that has the R5 zone. Yes.
Now, can you hear me okay, Julie?
Yes.
I'm looking at the last zoning map. This is from December 8th, 2020, which is the last one I could find online, but it did look like the old R5 used to cover more than that area. It looked like there was a little. So is there an updated map? And I don't know if we have that we can look at of what this R5 will cover. And then I just had a question about how the ordinance was drafted. It said shall not be used for other than one or more of the following, and one of them was home-based occupation. I just want to clarify, I'm fairly good at reading ordinances, but I just want to make sure I understand the way that's worded. And I don't know if we can pull that back up on the screen.
Yes, let me pull it up.
Yeah, so the 1822.010 there.
So they will be able to use or have the ability to have single family dwelling, which they would only have the one on each lot. They can have household pets, home occupations, or accessory buildings that are limited to certain square footage or not covering too much of the back to comply with other zone or other ordinances within our zoning.
Okay, yeah, it's just the wording designed to be used for other than one or more of the following uses. So I'm assuming the intent there is for any purpose other than the following.
We can fix that.
Maybe the council reads it. I don't know if it makes sense to the council the way it's written. I just do.
So strike the word other, designed to be used for one or more of the following uses. Get rid of.
Other than.
Is that your suggestion, Phil?
Designed to be used for
One or more of the following uses instead of other than.
Well, we wouldn't want that because it's no building or structure or land shall be used, and no building or structure shall be erected, which is arranged, intended, or designed to be used for other than one or more of the following uses. So I believe the way it would need to be worded would be designed to be used for any other purpose other than one or more. I'm trying to eliminate the others.
Just
there.
add the word any in front of
Yeah, I was
the
going to say the no kind of qualifies other there, just no, but any would certainly clarify it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how the council reads that. For some reason, when I'm reading it, it's a little counterintuitive to me, but.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. We can certainly add that. Anything else? You wanted to call up the zoning map and
have it.
okay, great.
Part of the reason why I like having the laptop, it's pretty quick and easy. There it is. Okay. So here is the current zoning map. Let me pull it over just a little. So here's R5. And this is actually the full Fox Meadows Phase 5. So they've split it from half and half, so it's A and B. So it's still one whole subdivision. For construction purposes, they kind of split it up, so it'd be a little bit easier to handle for them.
That's the current zoning map.
That is the current zoning map, and that is the only place that allows the R5.
What street is 2800? Is there a 2800? I don't know if there is a street there.
2700's right here.
Fox Meadows.
I was just looking at the
28 is would be right about.
I'm not sure we have a 2800, do we?
If we did, it would be right there.
Yeah, it's 2800. I don't know.
It just defines it.
That's probably
27 and 2800. I was just curious what that is.
Yeah, I believe 2800's that next road, part of Fox Meadows Phase 4, which is that next road. Let me pull it so I can show you.
So this ordinance limits it to that section at this point, but it kind of opens the door for us to approve it in other areas, or
No, it
closes
limits
the
it to
door.
that one area. So because the goal is that we would create a new patio home that would fit more with what Pleasant View's wanting and make it available in other areas.
That essentially makes it dead only.
That language, unless you guys.
An A is
The
to.
R5 shall be limited or is limited?
I think either way works.
Is just saying this is where it's allowed.
Shall is very, that's that.
We just need to work to get the new ordinance, which we can do.
You know, I know,
It'll be very similar to this, but
I know the intent of a mountain area is more of a cluster area versus just an outright
patio home.
patio homes, but I mean, I can see there possibly could be another area where we could allow a patio home. I mean, I think it's a nice clean thing. I think it's something that's needed in Pleasant View. So I don't know, I know this particular zone is only limited here, but
Moving forward though, it doesn't necessarily have to be just the mountain area.
well, I mean, at least in my opinion, and I don't know, but the zone that I'm envisioning is the use of a clustered
Right.
area that puts everything in a small area, that we have some open area for our water and for all those different things.
That's
We're down
right.
on the flats, I don't know if we need a clustered area necessarily.
Yeah.
But, so I just wonder if it's R5 limiting it to that. I don't know if that's something, I know that's the only one now, but there could be.
I agree with
There's a need for it there. So
Well, go back to what you said. We're gonna.
The idea is we're actually in the process of creating a new patio home zone.
right,
So we
so
wanna make
I would
sure
want to use
where-
this zone for up there.
It'll be
And so-
similar to this, very
But it more of I don't know. If
And
it's
we
a
are
cl-
working on the cluster component
So
too
the
in
cluster
sensitive
component.
lands.
So I wouldn't want this to be taken
Correct.
and used up in
Yeah,
some
we
of those
kind
areas.
of
Make
want
sure
to
we-
shelve
But I
this.
do want to have some options possibly in other places. So I don't know, by limiting it to this, is that tie our hands down the road?
Well, until we get a new zone. But if something came in tomorrow and the council wanted it to go in here, they could always go in and amend this.
Because, I mean, in my,
It's
my
not,
opinion of
it's not in
zones
stone.
is, we want to limit something, either use or something in a zone. So I don't know, limiting it to a specific area. I don't understand that necessarily. So help me.
The R5 was, I'll just say it was never intended for patio homes, and they kind of made patio homes fit there, so I think you start over and make a new one, because this one's kind of wonky. But you can make a new zone down here fits exactly what you're saying. And so tie this one up
That'd
with
be
a
very
bow.
similar.
So make it a P1, a patio home or something.
Make a new one, tie this one up.
Yeah,
let
it won't
fix
be
Fox
called-
Meadows.
Yeah,
And
it won't be
then-
called
It will have
R5.
its own.
As long, I would like to see that, a P1, a patio home, something, and then a mountain MP1 or something.
Okay, yeah.
Be, in some designated areas, so, anyway, that's all I have to say.
Tie this up and move forward and make a new one.
All right, as long as there's, because that's gonna
Actually in
be,
the works with that.
that's gonna be a thing of the future, really, and that's,
We're in the process of going through it, so.
sorry,
Oh, don't.
Sorry.
No, I think that's great.
gosh.
Gosh. Steve doesn't say sorry. Come on, Steve sticks to his guns.
I'm a new man. 2022, I'm a kinder, gentler.
It's early.
Are we still in public? No, we're
No,
not.
we closed that.
I'll make,
Okay.
no, you go. No, you go.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to amend the chapter R-5 zone ordinance addressing the setbacks and uses ordinance 2022 as stated.
-3.
There's, -3. Sorry, I got a 3 dot on the next line. As stated by Jill.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion by Yuri, second by Gibson. Any further discussion?
I just want to add, I'm going to withdraw the comment I had about editing. the
Oh, yeah,
language.
as amended.
I've reread, it makes sense. It's
Okay.
probably my own reading of it, but anyways, the way it's
So we don't-
drafted now, I don't have any conflict with it, I'm sorry.
Okay. So as submitted then.
As submitted without the, sorry. As submitted without the amendment.
All right. I'll roll call vote also, isn't it?
Yep.
Sure. I was going to do the same alphabetical order. Harrington.
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes,
Yuri.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, item 5 is a public hearing, discussion of possible action to consider a rezone from A2 to RE15 located at approximately 1630 West between Highway 89 and Pleasant View Drive. Property number 19-014-0030, ordinance 2022-4.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we go into a public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Marriott, second by Gibson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're in a public hearing then. Jill.
Okay, I promise this is the last time you'll have from me tonight. Well, items. So the old Dickamore property, which is in between 1500 and, if you guys remember Matthew Meadows, which is just kind of north, it's a subdivision. It's that property in the middle. They're wanting to change the zone from A2 to RE15. There it goes. Okay. So it's currently A2. The general plan shows for 2 to 3 units per acre, which means RE20 and RE15 will work to meet the general plan. So Budge Farms, let me go grab my laser. Sorry. That way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So, Budge Farms is right here. It's these 3 parcels. They have their subdivision and it's an RE15, so that's 3rd acre lots. Matthew Meadows is right here, and they're RE15, which is 3rd acre lots. So this parcel right here, he's requesting to be RE15, which matches the other 2. It does match the general plan. So as staff, we don't see any issues. And his goal is to combine both of those subdivisions together. And here is a draft concept plan. So Budge Farms is over here. Here, Bill, I forget you can't see my laser pointer. Budge Farms is over here. Matthew Meadows is over here. So his goal is to connect them both to have a flowing, that's his idea.
What was that little sliver going up there? Is that?
Liver, let's talk about that one. So we don't have a new parcel ID because what happened is the Dickamores cut that piece right there, and the Budge Lane they've sold to Diane Butch. So he wants this bottom piece rezoned, RE15. I just don't have the new parcel ID number.
So Budge Lane is not involved with this transaction.
There's no right of way in
It's a
there.
private lane.
It's a private lane. And talking with Diane Budge, they were talking about absorbing it, having it part of their lot, but I haven't seen anything yet, so I don't know
Currently, it's
anything
not
for
part of
sure.
this rezone.
So there would be no through into that
That's this
subdivision.
bottom part. The whole parcel is what's the parcel number that we have, but because it was split, I don't have the new parcel ID number.
Saw that in the notes that it's not
Oh.
really 30 anymore. It's who knows what. So, okay.
It's just this big part that shows.
That's their
that piece.
concept,
That's
right?
the concept.
Where's Budge Lane in relation to that, right above there? Okay.
Right there. Right here. That way you can see.
So that,
Does that currently go all the way to 89?
Yes.
well, yeah, through
Kind of.
people's private,
You've got a,
It's a private
Road.
lane.
and it goes
Yeah,
down
but
and then
it
goes
does go.
back
Uh-huh.
to the kind of
So
northwest.
you
and then
see
down.
right
great
here,
place to take pictures.
it comes down and then it comes across and down. But this is a private lane.
So then that would essentially become a
Kind of
dead
goes
end.
around that property. I did it the other day. Well, several months ago, I drove it just to see where it went and stuff. Okay.
So this is just your reason.
This is just a rezone. As
Thank-
staff, we don't see any issues. It meets the general plan.
Any concerns from the planning commission?
The planning commission recommended approval,
They did talk about Budge Lane, but that
Yes,
comes
they did.
later.
but that will come with the subdivision portion of it.
Okay, great. Any members of the public wish to speak to this?
I think Jill did pretty good explaining it.
Would you state your name for the,
Yeah, Brian
Recording.
Smith, 5425 South, 3675 West, Roy, Utah. Yeah, as far as I can tell, it goes along with the plan that you guys have for the zoning, and I think that's what we're talking about. But as far as that pipe, I don't own that. You can look under my name. There is a number, but it's not fixed on the map at this point. So I did put that on the application.
all right, great, thank you.
Here, I'll make a motion to go out of public hearing.
Second that motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Uri. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're out of the public hearing. Back to the council. Questions?
Are there any homes on the property right now? There's no homes on it.
Are there any homes on the property right now? No. Okay. Okay. Alrighty.
Is that gray barn?
They're all gray. All the ones are gray.
That one gray barn?
Of course.
Yes. I can answer that for him, and I
Gray
don't even
barn
know.
that looks
It is a gray barn.
light gray. Yeah, it's a great place for
I
pictures.
think it's historical
dang
significance to Pleasantview, isn't it?
What?
it.
Yeah.
It does, and it's a great place to take pictures, but whatever. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we rezone this property located at 1630 West between Highway 89 and Pleasant View Drive, property 19-014-0030 from A2 to RE15, according to the recommendation from staff. And it's ordinance 2022-4.
Okay. We
And-
yeah, on the
Okay.
like on the ordinance, it's missing the proper description because
So
I'm pretty sure that those records are.
I haven't seen it in my full abstract, so I'm watching for it.
with the staff's recommendation to have a new legal description.
Yeah, I'll have great things.
I won't sign this until we get it. So, all right. Further discussion? Wait. So not second. I was going to say wait. There's no second here.
Second,
Motion by Uri, second by Arrington. Roll call vote. Arrington,
yes.
Gibson, Marriott,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Yuri.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
We need a nice path along Highway 89, by the way. You can be the first one to put that
You
in.
Should.
Path to nowhere.
Halfway.
Path to nowhere.
It's like, yeah, right.
Yes. All righty.
Someone has to start it.
Item 6, discussion and possible action to set the 2022 council liaison assignments. Liaison. It's French. Fragile. All right. You have in your packet the last assignments we did. There's a couple that probably need to be added that's not on here, and that's the Fiber Committee, the Skyline Drive Committee, and the Veterans Monument Committee.
This sky is transportation committee too. Is that the skyline?
No, that's a separate one.
Okay.
That's our master planning. And I know Councilor Gibson's really gonna,
will not be on it.
really gonna push hard for that one.
Yeah, the Transportation Committee. Any others I'm missing?
There was one that Phil and I talked about, kind of going along with planning commission, but ordinance review and code review.
Yeah, we did establish that, and
And
I asked originally Kevin and, was it you? You?
I think it was Ann.
And Kevin to be on that. Yeah, so we need that one too. Anybody want anything different than what they have? And I guess the question would be, Phil, are you okay with us dumping on you what Councilmember Bailey had?
Yeah, I was just looking at it, and honestly, a lot of them sound great. The ramp stuff would be great. The Eagle Scout project liaison's great.
The only one that'd be different is the mayor pro tem. I've asked Steve if he'd serve as the mayor pro tem.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. And then also the youth city council, we need to add under Sarah. Don't we?
I'm happy to help with that, yes, but with Cindy.
Yeah, with Cindy. You'd be the council liaison.
Yeah. Cindy's great. So.
I would stay with that too under me, but both of us. Okay.
So
let's go back to the any changes on any of those that we added to, and the ordinance committee.
and do you still want to work on that?
Still good.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I mean,
So Phil, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that as well.
I figured that would be a natural for you. That would be really advantageous for the city to have you on that. We're kind of in the infancy of that, where we're trying to identify kind of a pecking order of what we want to take on. So,
Yep.
Do you mind at times if we work together with planning commission with that? If I'm the liaison to planning commission with that, is that okay at times?
So like on planning related ordinances, would you want to be involved?
yeah, we have
I just love
to.
language, that's all. I bet I don't necessarily have to be, so.
So, a question: do you want to stay as the liaison for planning?
Sure.
Unless
Anybody else? If not, Sarah's.
I feel good about Sarah.
Well, and
That's one of the more time consuming. That's the only reason I'm asking you. We're happy that you take that on, but
no, and I think to Councilmember Yuri's
more time consuming.
question is related to updating the planning ordinances. You'd like to be involved. Is that?
well, yeah, at times, nothing
Yeah.
against or anything like that. I just like working with language and.
Yeah, because Sarah's actually been very involved. We've been working, to Councilmember Gibson's point, been working on an A5 committee and a sensitive lands committee. And so she's been involved in those ones too. So I don't know if we could.
Well, we can, yeah, we'll figure out the logistics of that.
Okay,
Because if 3 council members can't.
right.
do it without me, yeah.
No, definitely,
But if
definitely.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to be on the Skyline Drive committee.
So currently we have Sarah and Steve on that. Fibers, Ann and Dave. Veterans was Kevin and Sarah. And it was about everybody, but Karen is, yeah. Karen,
Oh, there's pickleball too.
and I'm sure Kevin will still be involved, but Phil, you okay helping with that veteran. It's winding down, hopefully. Not a lot
Yeah.
left, but there will be
Yeah, that's an area I'm not gonna be the biggest expert on, but I'm happy to, and I'd love to help with pickleball unless we're full on that.
I could help on the veterans if you want.
okay. How about we give Dave the veterans, and then pickleball would be, who do we got on that? We got,
Currently have Sarah and Ann on it.
Oh, well, then that's fine. No, I don't need to be on pickleball. My wife can fill me in on
well,
it.
we could, yeah. You'll eventually, yeah, you'll eventually be involved, because most of this stuff is this committee, and then it comes. And then any new committees that going forward, we talked, Phil and I brought this up a couple months ago, I believe, about, because this is new. These committees that we established with 2 council members is kind of a new concept. The council thought it, I'm looking up at him, and he's not, I should be looking straight ahead, because that's where the camera is. That it was a really good idea to continue using these smaller committees to kind of keep these projects moving and help take some of the burden of staff doing it all and then bringing it here and us changing our mind. And so
Oh, wait, we have Trader Joe's committee too.
we will.
That's an unofficial effort involved cookies, you know.
So yeah, I'd like to continue to go forward with that. Any other changes?
I do have a question, Mayor, on the Transportation Master Plan Committee, and I know that Councilmember Gibson's not interested, but we do only have one council member on that. So if there's anyone else that'd like to be involved, be happy to allow someone else to be.
I'd be happy to be on it, but you may not like what I have to say.
I'd be happy to do that, Mayor.
Too many studies on it.
Ann said she would love to be on it.
Let's keep Steve off that.
Yeah. So Ann would be on the Transportation Master Plan.
Okay, Anna and Dave. Okay,
Okay.
they're gonna get us our traffic count.
So Phil, just on the fun run section of Founder's Day, fun run and breakfast. Typically, you don't have to do it yourself. We kind of farmed that out. Kevin took that on. Him and his wife and his family kind of took that on. And it sounds to me like they're still willing to do it, but we can coordinate that as we move down the road. You'd kind of be the council liaison and deal with them and make sure it's all going right.
That sounds great.
And same with like the car show. He works with he's worked with Woody's in the past to make that happen. Sarah's worked with the fireworks people. Ann's worked with the salmon bake people. So it's just kind of a
It's a whole group.
I don't
effort.
expect you to do it all. Yeah, it's all hands on deck. And we'll have meetings, actual advertised meetings where we'll all get together and meet and plan for Founder's Day. So don't panic on any of these assignments. All right. And
But if it fails, then you have to.
yeah, now if it tanks, we're gonna.
And then you have to be the cheerleader running in the race, and then come back and cook breakfast and eat a big bunch of breakfast. So
That's okay.
just in case.
Founder's Day is a very important part. We missed it the one year, and we were bound and determined to bring it back last year, and we did, and it was very successful, very, very successful. People in the community really missed it. So I think that's one reason it was so successful is like, I heard the comment several times. I didn't really realize that I missed it till it was gone, and what we had until it was gone. And so,
Phil was
very
a
true,
big
very true.
advocate for North Ogden and their parade, and actually reached out to me. You did a great job, Phil.
All right,
Mayor, I did notice there isn't, I don't know if it needs to be on here, but there isn't a parade one on the Founder's Day stuff.
oh, yeah, it's
so.
just after parade. And so typically, who's
It's been
Sarah.
So
Allison.
Allison has, so I assume Cindy would be.
Cindy, yeah. So
we probably need.
have Dave work with Cindy.
I think we should have Dave that'll be charged of the parade.
Well, we had Boyd Hanson kind of worked and helped get the judges and that, and I think you did it last year. So
Yeah,
so
Dave
yeah,
knows a lot of
let's
that.
put that. Let's add that parade.
That's
On
kind of
there,
like
put
the
that under
breakfast
Dave.
and the fun run.
You still willing to do that?
Yeah, that's
Okay. All right.
as long as there's a city
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
We'll still
no,
have-
Cindy will absolutely be involved in willing to
Now,
help.
is she fully prepared for that? I mean, that's a big.
She's been
Allison,
given some heads up.
huge shoes to fill.
I know.
it's
Yeah,
something we have to
we've
start
been-
pretty early too.
I
so-
think that she's up to the task.
She's got a really good relationship with Allison too.
She
I'm
does.
sure she'll-
Yeah, Allison's been helping her along, and she really likes parades, and I think she's really up to the task.
'Cause that's probably, I mean, everything's big.
Right, but it's one of the biggest
That's a
components.
big part.
Yeah, it is.
It cannot, we just take for granted, that Allison just does it.
So, yeah, we'll probably want to,
We met quite a bit last year, so.
yeah, same thing, get with Cindy early
Good
and,
idea of what
Yeah.
it takes to do
excellent.
So we kind of all help with this, but Ann, you're the only ex on Economic Development Committee since we're playing with Trader Joe's. And do you want me to come help? Or
Typically Steve's been on that.
there's no other ex.
I've been on the Far West 2700
Oh.
development, but I've not been on the economic development.
There's only one person on the
Do you
economic
mind if
development.
I'm with you, Ann, or
Oh, I don't mind. No.
then we
Okay,
can
that's fine. Yeah, anybody else?
get all?
If
I
not,
think
we'll put
we all
Sarah on
help
there.
with it.
Yeah, we all
for the
help with
most
it.
part, but it doesn't have to be an official ex.
That's what
So
I'm like.
Steve's
I really
chair.
got an X on every one of these, but
Steve's chair of the Founders Day Committee, right? Steve's chair.
yes.
Yay.
Steve, you willing to stay chair?
Steve's chair. Steve, you're chair of Founders Day.
I mean, unless someone wants a
I don't want to.
turn.
Go, Steve.
No, you do a good job.
We got
You got that thing down.
Yeah.
Love your experience there.
I'll help you put out signs.
Oh, can we have a sign? I've done that for,
Oh, wait, hey,
somebody else wants
Phil,
it.
Phil wants to help Dave put out signs.
I've done that every year for the last.
Wicked generation.
Phil, you'll love
All righty. Do we need an actual motion on these? Yeah, let's do. Yeah, because some like mosquito abatement likes a letter or something. So yeah.
State it first, or do you?
Having you
I think
marking X's.
we can.
Hey.
Not everywhere.
Just for your benefit,
Sorry, they were having issues with court earlier, so they were trying to use this equipment right before. That's why we're having some.
I was nominated the chair.
So what we'll do is let's go ahead and we can go ahead and approve this. Laurie will send the new list out. If it needs to be corrected, we can correct it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the 2022 council liaison assignments as discussed.
I'll second that.
Motion by Arrington, second by Uri. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Oh, any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 7, discussion possible action to set work session dates for the city council. All right, we talked about having a special work session. We usually do. Kind of discuss our upcoming goals, kind of get a jump start on what we want to look for kind of as the budget goes forward, so on and so forth. We usually do it on a Saturday morning early, so we can be done by like 10 o'clock, like 8 to 10, bring in breakfast. Anybody have a particular day in February, Saturday, that does not work?
Well,
Well, it
does not work.
This doesn't work.
How about the 19th?
No. 26, can we do it?
No. I'll be in Cancun.
19th would work best for me of all
You got every one of your Saturdays?
Nice. I tell you, this ballroom thing is killing my life. No, if we did 19th, we would have to do, well, at least we're gonna have to do early.
Earlier than
Like 5 a.m.
We're here.
Nothing gets in the way of 5 a.m.
I'll be gone from the 26th to the 12th of March, by the way. I don't think there's any council. Oh, yeah, there is. The 8th. So I will not be here March 8th, Steve. That day, I'll probably be on the beach getting a massage.
What about can we do it,
And the 9th. And the.
It starts.
Sorry, we have everything worked out. There were just some modifications. Really. It's not- Where, what?
80 and is there, so I
We have to push it clear to the 19th of March.
yeah, I'll just have my assistant. Because we only do those upstairs and.
So, February 19th.
Yeah.
Mayor, can I make a suggestion possibly that the council members make a list of the items they'd like to discuss, so we could possibly have that, itemized down to like things, so we're not just all talking over each other.
Okay.
Yeah, what-
Actually have a little bit of a plan.
What is the intent of the
Well,
position?
it's generally, it's just a, how can I put it? Kind of to discuss our vision of what we want to accomplish during the next year.
Like what we want to work on specifically?
Yeah, what we see, just some forward planning a little bit. We have some good plans, but we want to make sure we revisit, what we're doing, make sure we're doing a good job, and if there's anything new, we have some things we're going to bring forward that has,
Like update the general plan next year.
yeah. So, yeah, it's just kind of goals for that year,
Oh my goodness, we have so many goals.
and we'll try to keep it like within the 2 hours. I think we've done really good at keeping it short and sweet. So,
Like special
Yeah.
projects, like, would that be part of the
Yeah.
discussion too, if we have special projects besides just
Mhm.
general?
It's a good opportunity just to talk and not have to be on an agenda and just kind of.
and we can't make any decisions.
Yeah,
Right.
There's no decisions, but
Well,
that work for you, Phil?
Wish list and just.
Yep.
February
Do we need-
19th?
Do we need to do it earlier for Sarah or?
Okay.
We lost him. Just saying, they shut you off, I think.
Works good for me.
Okay, I got a
works for
thumbs
you?
up. That works.
sorry, I turned down the sound significantly.
8?
7:30 be better for you? Could you do a half hour?
No, that's fine.
I'm not going to do any earlier than 7 on Saturday.
No, let's just do 8 and then I'll just go late. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine. I'll have my husband take me.
Okay.
I don't know how much ballroom I can stand in the month of February anyway.
Right.
Hours sitting in the gym.
All right. And Laurie will provide us some breakfast or?
What's a good breakfast thing? I know we've had Chick-fil-A the last couple of
You
years.
do Einstein's, what did you say?
Einstein's would be really good
What
too.
about like a breakfast burrito or something like that?
Ooh,
Ricardo's.
Huh?
He says as long as it's not better.
As long
Oh.
as it's not what?
Betos?
You know,
Are you
that-
still on your
that's
Betos
funny.
kick, man?
There are people that and that's true with every
How
single
did we get
place.
Betos in 2 separate meetings?
How are we back?
2 days in a row. I'm going to bring Betos to the next meeting I have with Ann. Her husband loves Betos.
I'm not saying anything.
Some people love it, some people don't, but that's true with any restaurant. So
I heard Ricardo's is really good.
let's keep it simple.
I think they are, yeah.
Or a
How
restaurant.
about Nieder's French toast? How about?
Ooh, yes.
Laurie,
Caramel
surprise us.
French toast.
No,
Meter's French toast.
it'll be cold by
McDonald's
the
at-
time it gets here.
Red Crown Burger, what are you talking about food?
I had chicken. I had a chicken skewer. That's it. But it was good.
I'll eat anything, so.
Okay, cool, let's go.
All right. All right.
Did you make a motion?
Did we approve that already? Yes, we did.
Well, what's the second one? You said
So yeah, I guess,
plural. Or do we do that
I
at a
think-
later time?
yeah, because usually it's clear in the fall if we end up having one, so.
Or we could have a follow-up and be unique.
So yeah, I'd entertain a motion to set February 19th, 8
I'll make
a.m.
the motion we set February 19th at 8 to 10 o'clock, no later than 10.
10:01. 10:01.
That was our
I'll second.
city council.
Work session. Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by
With
Gibb.
the Betos.
Oh. Yes, Betos.
I haven't had any.
I've never had Betos.
It was pretty good with
Oh.
potatoes.
We have to go there again?
Okay, focus, everybody, focus.
All right, so I think we had a motion by Gibson, second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Great. All right, item 8 is a closed meeting. We do need a closed meeting.
We do.
So
And yeah,
entertain.
do we want to do other business first? or-
Yeah, I guess we could real quick. Chief, do you have anything? Other business?
Just that we're going to be updating our animal and code ordinances since we've taken on that responsibility at the police department. We're going to look them over and see what needs to be updated with and get our new animal services, community service officer working on those, along with Sergeant Talbot and myself. We're trying to avoid cats.
Asked the same question.
They keep my rats
I
away, all
asked
the
the
rats.
same exact question.
That's another conversation for another day, I think. But
I'm serious though, we need to have some answer whether we're doing it or not.
I've actually
Not just-
reached
not
out
just-
to Weber
not just
County to
asking
see what they're doing, and it seems like every city's trying to avoid the cat issue, but I know it's a problem.
There are some things we will be addressing with regards to cats.
Let me just make a comment for those who don't know. We did away with the cats when, and the animal stuff. We got away from Ogden City and Weber County. Where are they not humane to the
Shelter?
shelter?
Yeah.
We didn't want to pay for that. It was a huge expense. So now, if a Pleasant View resident takes a cat in, they won't take it.
Oh.
Because Pleasant View's not, I think it's 2 cities.
Well, most cities are doing that catch, neuter, release thing, but the person who finds the cat has to pay for that.
So anyway, there's been a couple issues.
Has the option to.
Been a couple issues where residents have trapped a cat, that's had litters, many things. There's a budgeted amount that they will pay, like $50, but if they don't, then they get to take to a vet, which is $150, $200, and the residents just not going to do that. So, but we've opted out, so we can't utilize that, which is fair. If we're not paying into it, then, but I think we need to have something, either we're just not doing cats, just to avoid it though.
Well, and I think, and to be fair, I think we're exploring those options. It's really looking at a revamp of our ordinances. And I think just addressing what issues we have at hand.
There's a feral cat problem, there's a huge deer problem, there's a huge raccoon problem in our city.
And the deer and the raccoon are a bit trickier to work with, but no, I know the chief said he's going to reach out to the other cities that don't have a contract with Weber County. We're going to see what they're doing, see maybe if there's options for collaboration there. We are looking at options.
Weber County
Fund or something that we could help maybe control the population, because it really is getting out of control. So anyway, sorry, Chief.
That's all right. We'll look at options on that. I had a report of a couple of real, I can't remember which council persons, the bright lights on Highway 89. So we looked into that, and there are 2 businesses with extremely bright lights on Highway 89.
That auto repair place.
Auto repair, and then up by the,
On the tree somewhere up there.
yeah,
I think it's by that
31,
youth
100
house.
North. I actually took pictures of them, went out at night, and boy, they're extremely bright. Actually, I talked with Jill a little bit, and we've made contact, I believe, with both owners, and they've agreed to work with us on getting that problem resolved in the near future. So our new officers are doing great. In the last 3 weeks, they've gotten 6 DUIs. So we know that's, yeah. We give them 7 before we fire them. But what we're doing, we've got some overtime state grant shifts for DUI alcohol enforcement. So we're working off those. So the state's paying for the shifts. We've gotten 6 DUIs and 4 or 5 drug arrests in the last 3 weeks, just off these overtime shifts. So it's good. We're getting these people off the streets and welcoming them to Pleasant View. If they're going to have those kind of problems, we're going to deal with it.
Is that catch and release too?
Because of the jail, yeah, pretty much. One gal resisted arrest and took a misdemeanor into a felony with one of our new officers, so she was booked. And our car burglaries, as the weather starts getting good, or we get a holiday weekend, they start picking up. A couple in Sarah's neighborhood. Matter of fact, Sarah's house.
Yeah, I got my car broken into.
Broken into?
The night before we went down for youth
I got my
council.
car ransacked because I forgot to lock it that night.
Well,
But
like
the
a night or
whole
two later, we had them hit
street-
again, same neighborhood.
The whole street.
So the night crew's been advised, and we're doing the best we can to try to take care of these people. And other than business as usual, that's about it.
And our new animal service code officer is doing a great job.
Excellent. She's only been on a full week, I think, or a little over a week
And
and a
she's
half,
already
but-
posted on Facebook, a bunch of animals, helped rehome them.
I've been impressed with her posts
Yeah.
and that. She's worked on licenses and everything's been really good.
So good. She's learning as she goes, but she's a quick learner and very dedicated, very personable to work with. And she'll be an asset to the police and the city. So we're extremely pleased with Jessie Brummett is her name.
She had a previous PD somewhere.
So she worked for Ogden for a time, but most recently comes out of the Navy. She's a Navy Reserve officer.
She worked out of the chief's office at Ogden City. Was assistant staff and did a little bit for the Ogden City Council. And so she's got some city government experience, but code enforcement a little bit and animal control not so much. So that's what we're concentrating on right now. That's all I have.
Thanks for your really good.
We will.
Okay. Tyson?
Received the 3 proposals for the streetlight maintenance bid. The streetlights have been ordered after what seems like a long process to get those coming. So those will be the new approved city official streetlight. So that'll start that process once we get those in, and we'll start looking at the older ones, start phasing out the older sections and updating throughout the city. So we will under this. That's part of all that new contract.
You know, there's several. I know I've given you a list of 3 at least, but if they're not going to, is that just a supply chain problem, or is it just them not wanting to help us out? What is the real deal behind them not replacing the lights or maintaining it?
It's that older bulb, and so that'll be part of us getting rid of them, is with the new LED and the dark skies compliant street lights. As you're getting out of that, manufacturers don't want to produce those older style bulbs anymore, and so what ones are still needed are hard to get. So that's what they're claiming, is it's a supply chain with COVID and
replace them.
Not wanting to produce that older style halogen.
So are we going to, what is it, the gator? What are those called?
The intersection will be the Cobra head.
Oh, the Cobra head, excuse me. So are we going to replace the Cobra heads like on Pleasant View Drive at the crossing of the?
Yep. So
is that going to be a new style, or are we going to just replace the Cobra head with the LED Cobra head style?
No, most you're getting where we're getting out of the Rocky Mountain Power and being part of their maintenance plan is
so all those places will be new.
Yes, but it would be, that'll be that next portion. Whether we end up doing, depending on which proposal you go with, and then the cost of it.
Still, I mean, I hear that, but it's just there's some problems that are really dark in those areas that there should be a light and it's not there.
That will really be up to the council. What phase 2 will be. This is what we decided in phase 1.
But if we're going to be a year, 2 years to have it not be a light there,
Yeah, and so now you can put a dollar figure to replacement. So if you want to give us 100,000, that might only be 10.
So there's no
lights.
retrofit where you can unscrew the halogen, whatever the light is, and screw in an LED. There's nothing.
No, usually they have to replace that whole. Yeah, even the Rocky Mountain Power style has to replace the whole body.
I don't want to hear that.
Sorry.
How many, well, I'll let you finish. I just had a question. Secondary water, not secondary, or updated meters, about how much of the city's done now?
We're at 500 and I think it was 60. Is converted at a 2,500-ish, give or take.
And I heard that the legislature was talking about metering secondary water again. Is that coming?
I hope they do. I think it's coming regardless. They're adding, so it's already mandated on secondary for new services.
Here too?
It's
Wow.
everywhere. That's statewide. Yes. So any new home has their own secondary meter. And I think they use census, and that'll be what's nice for them is they're going to start off on auto read right out the gate. So, but how long till they convert to any different type of payment, or if they even will process? I'm sure they'll have to get a huge chunk of their districts in before they switch to it. And then the water service project, they're pretty much wrapped up with all the services on the west end of town. So pretty much the orchard on PV Drive to the park and ride have all been jumped over to the 8-inch off of that leaking old main.
That's all done?
That one
Just the services on that end. So the next part will be the disconnect. So those intermittent loops they put in down between the two. Next, we'll have to do some noticing and pothole. Hopefully we can find every one of them, and there isn't a hidden, unmapped, missing one. But then they'll shut down and disconnect those, and then move officially onto the 1,000 West to 1,100, and then up to 3,800 to do the TRV.
That's what I texted you about today.
Yes.
Oh, it was all dug up. So.
Yep, that would be that one from us. So that one, yeah, the next big phase will be, so like 1,100 and PV Drive, that's going to be a major undertaking because you've got multiple dual mains all coming to a head right there. So it's going to get real bad before it gets better. And then we'll come back and fix the roads the following year for that section, hopefully. So.
And a huge shout out to your crews just keeping the roadways clear with all of this tricky weather recently.
Yes.
Lots of black ice and slushy. That's the hard stuff. Those are the real hard ones.
Fun. Nobody wants to come on ride-alongs when you're just throwing.
Hey, I was not invited on a ride along for that one.
Oh,
So.
I'm waiting for like
We're saving
10 inches of snow.
Let's get the fly.
And we'll be fighting over it.
Or drought.
Throwing salt,
Yes.
whatever.
The drought webinar, they were being hopeful for the beginning of February for moisture, but
How are the wells? Are they?
we're better than last year's conditions for sure now. So with snowpack and soil moisture and
Yeah, I think I saw the snowpack was like 105%, which is good. I mean, we're still in a shortage mode because of last year.
it goes into the
I know,
into
but
the reservoirs themselves. You're down.
reservoirs, yeah.
Have
you been-
reservoir in all of Utah that's above 80%, and most of them are down in that 30 to 40% range, and so you've used up a lot of that storage and safety
Already, yeah.
So even though you're having a wetter year,
It's not fix the problem by any means.
No, we're gonna need several good years in a row to recover.
No, I'm sure we'll be pitching a lot of those drought practices, and there's no reason we shouldn't be able to.
Thought she's either side or she was getting ready to.
Hey, I have a question / request. I mean, along with the field trip to go see the wells and stuff, I'd like to sometime, and maybe if people want to jump in, but I'd love to get into one of the trucks with some lights on so we can go nice and slow and just drive around all of Pleasant View and just talk about like what's going on here and what's going on here and what's the plan here and what's happened in the past here, and just do a drive around, look at like parks, commercial development areas, just things like that, where we could put, I know we can't all fit in one, we could get Boyd's bus.
Yes.
Or if not, I mean, maybe just like a speakerphone or something, because I know it'd take more than one car, but it'd be nice to just do. Okay. I know I'd like to just go slow and just talk about some things around the community and,
I love that idea.
So
No, I think that's a great idea.
a couple of you could Show us around a bit.
A lot of that side stuff, unless you're out and you're specifically just looking for things or working on something directly, like they're not traveled, it's probably not going to make the.
And then you're going to be frustrated because the roads are going to be crappy.
Yes.
No sidewalks.
Yeah, the street lights, they're
Streetlights.
crappy.
It's going to be overwhelming.
Let's go up and down 400.
Yes, my beard is getting grayer and grayer. I've got some work to do as I've learned.
I think that's a fantastic idea,
Yeah.
along with the work sessions and stuff and going on the field trip to a lot of tanks and stuff.
When it warms up a little bit, we can get that scheduled.
Let us know when it warms up and ballroom dancing is over. Okay. Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
How about Jimmy
Thank you.
John's? How about?
Jill, do you have anything?
Yeah, we're talking.
But now I want to try Beto's because I've never tried.
Amy?
And we'll take you.
Why are we?
I've never had Beto's. Is it really that good?
I like Beta,
No comment.
Nice and greasy.
So
especially the breakfast burrito.
I don't know if Dave or Ann were going to bring up the fiber committee. That's the only thing that I had on my list to make sure we
Yeah,
address.
go ahead and we'll jump in.
Okay, perfect. So we had a fiber committee meeting yesterday. We're working on, and sorry, Tyson, it's still in early stages, but thanks to you, we've got stages. We're working on an interlocal agreement option with the company of Connects. So
Wait, interlocal or franchise?
Oh, franchise agreement. Oh, my goodness. Franchise agreement. Wow.
Jump in when we're needed. Keep going.
Thank you. A franchise agreement with the company Connects. They are a fiber company that's locally operating, and the committee itself, and Ann and Dave can speak to this. You know, this wasn't their first option, but I think this is an option that'll get the needle moving on this item. And so they would like to see us partnering with Connects to try to get fiber citywide. They committed that they're willing to do that. We can't include that in a franchise agreement. No. Yeah,
But you can have.
But they've kind of verbally committed to doing that with franchise agreement as well. If another company were to come forward and, say they wanted the same agreement, then we would need to give them the same type of agreement as well. And so we're working through some of those fine details, but wanted to give the council some information on that and the direction that we're heading. There may be some collaboration to be able to get it in some of the more tricky areas. Micro trenching will probably have to be involved in some of the rockier areas into the roads, and would work closely with Tyson on that. And then it would be a huge uptick in the blue staking. They're looking at possibly a 2-year build out to get the citywide infrastructure, but that's where we've come. We've met with various companies since the engagement with Strata and looking at their options. And at this time, this is the direction the committee sees where we can really get some movement moving forward. It doesn't tie us in permanently to this solution, but it does give that forward mobility on this.
This too won't lock down to just Connect, so anyone else can come and play in the playground as long as they play by the franchise rules. But that being said, it's not quite as legally binding either. And so, I mean, it's
not legally binding at all, really. So.
It's a handshake agreement in some of the things that we really wanted to try and accomplish as the fiber committee. And so that part leaves Dave and I a little bit nervous because you can't really pin them down tight on some of those things, but they say they will,
How have they been in other cities so far that you've seen?
So they've completed a full install in Far West and have a franchise agreement. I almost said interlocal again. Franchise agreement with them, and have had a really good experience. We've met with Far West to talk about that a little bit too. And one thing with Connects that is appealing to what the fiber committee's intent has been is that they are working with internet service providers. So they're not the actual provider. They could go into that realm later if they wanted to, but they have similar providers that Utopia and some of the other companies offer. So it is an increased choice and opportunity for competition with users.
I want to thank Amy too for all of her work on this franchise agreement, because she's taken multiples and merged them together, including the one that we have with Comcast in the city now, because they got to play by some of the same rules too. So anyway,
thanks to Tyson for providing
You guys have been amazing. Thanks for your help on that. So,
Very good.
Good job, you guys.
anything else, Dave, you want to add?
No, it limits us in a lot of ways. This is a direction we're going right now to look at, but my concern is that it will never get, I really don't believe it's going to get to every resident in Pleasant View. So that's the downside of it. They can say they're going to get there, but we still have a very difficult topography in the city, and
What are they estimating? I mean, I know they say.
They say 2 years, but it's just
2 years for the entire city?
Timeline?
No,
You don't think it'll
number
happen
of, he says they're not gonna hit every resident of the city. I mean,
well,
in the 90%?
they're gonna go to the easy places first, because that's where they can make their
And
money.
they may have to require like some money from residents in difficult spread out
like-
spots, like,
Yeah, I mean,
Patch.
It should be.
yeah.
and the other, there's other limitations to it that I think are not necessarily that favorable for the city, but it's also not the city getting involved. So it's something we need to discuss more, and we're just going to go ahead and forward with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I just appreciate you guys and all the hard work that you guys have been doing, seriously, to find options and to provide the best options for the residents in the city. And I just think it's great. So thank you for really vetting out the process. So
The question I would have is, when do we want to kind of, the public's kind of, sitting there going, what are
we
they going to
doing?
do? What are they doing?
So Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to get the franchise agreement in place first, which we're hoping to bring that to you next time. Is that right?
Potentially for the next council meeting, yes.
And
But
you probably want to see it before council meeting, like you want to
Oh,
pour over it.
yeah,
and
no,
stuff.
we can do a send out, and we've got to negotiate with Connects as well and make sure that they're good with all of the terms that are involved with that. But I mean, once we have kind of a final draft of that, and obviously Tyson's going to be working closely to vet through those details, and we're going to have our legal staff help with that as well. Once we have that final draft, I think we'd like to re-invite all of the public back and say, we've heard you, this is, kind of where we got to with solutions and what we could actually do with,
Oh, I think you should push it out big time. Like, I've noticed other cities, how they do it just like that. Once they've reached that agreement, they put it out on social media, email, their newsletter saying, hey, this is.
We'll give, and yeah, you're right. And once we've got everything in place, which should be hopefully spring, of course, the company too will do a lot of advertising and door hangers and all kinds of stuff too. So.
Can neighborhoods push that? If we, if me as just a citizen, if I went around all my neighborhood and put something that says we all want to buy into it, and would that help those neighborhoods that are?
It would help in any of the models that we've talked about. It would help every one of those. They all want subscription type information to say, hey, this makes more sense for us to go here. It makes more sense.
Yeah.
So if you had a commitment from your neighborhood and went to Connects and said, hey, we know you're coming, they're all ready to sign on, here it is. So.
Yeah, it's like choosing a provider though right now, right? It's unless they're there, you really don't have that information that's accurate information, right? It's like they might come, they might be there, but it's hard. So it's hard to go out and forward sell that kind of stuff.
It's a little more difficult than the other way, but it'll be a lot less liability on.
We'll give you a lot more details as that comes, but we're getting close, aren't we? Getting close.
Yeah, and Anna and Dave have put in a ton of work too. I have to give them a lot of credit.
Anything else? Ari? Okay.
Wait, I'm not done.
We'll start at this end, but okay.
Oh, you
Go
never
ahead.
start at that end. All right, I was
gonna do that for Phil's benefit. Okay, so he didn't have to go first because he's normally
You're
in
the
that
mayor.
seat.
Go ahead.
But you go ahead. We'll still make Phil last. Go ahead.
No, just wanted to bring up to speed a little bit on our ramp grant application for the pickleball courts as well. We've had so many generous donors do in-kind donations. That fellow you gave me the name of, he's doing some. Our in-kind donations added up to a good amount and made our ramp grant really in a strong position.
What did we end up with?
with the in-kind, all the donations?
Large,
Oh, we have almost half with our in-kind and
You're talking about what we applied for?
we applied for the large.
We applied for the large one.
Yeah, so it's a major grant.
Because we're
Yeah.
looking at 700K.
We don't know. When we dropped them off, there was, that bid was the smaller one.
we went to drop it off. They had a
Yeah,
clear
they had all-
bucket. Oh, are you talking about ramp with the county? Yeah. February 2nd, I'm not on the major grant. I'm on Parks and Rec. But I will see it still. And February 2nd, we all get our boxes of, we become the liaison that you have to work with. So there will be a liaison that's attached to our city that will meet with Amy and Ann and I.
There's 20, there's a 50, there's 100.
Yeah,
I don't
I know.
When they have big totes when we got there, and there were about 3 or 4, but we went a little bit early. Honestly, I'm kind of
Did you fold the
obsessive
side
about
of
Yeah, right?
We did have a pretty picture on the front though, like West Haven.
He said we weren't
Worst day
supposed to.
ever.
But, so I was just going to tell you one thing that sets us aside from other pickleball projects is that we're trying to, have like a grand court, kind of like a center court and some things like that. So I think we stand out as kind of a tournament facility as opposed to just like 4 more pickleball courts or whatever, right? I do too. I'm excited about it, really excited. And the community's really ramping up on it. They're excited.
And the
So.
surrounding communities bought into that idea too.
We got a lot of letters of recommendation or
Yes.
whatever.
I'm happy to
West,
send out a
North
copy of the
Dalton,
ramp
Airsville,
application
they all
if
bought into
there's
the idea
interest.
of us being a tournament facility.
Well, I guess it's good. They want all their residents to come use ours.
They do anyway, so.
Yeah, anyway, we're excited about it. So thanks again for all the help with the ramp grant,
It
Amy.
really is.
Yes,
It's a
we're pretty
beautiful
excited.
setting.
Beautiful,
There's no other setting better than that setting.
Exactly.
beautiful.
Put that in the rent grant.
Actually,
There's a lot of good. I will send out the ramp
Done
grant
there.
application.
Sarah,
no, that's really exciting about the ramp grant with pickleball. Lots of big community support, but also major people that wrote letters of recommendation. But anyway, last week, Local Officials Day was awesome. We took the city council down, some of them, and Amy and Cindy went, and we got to meet with Representative Ryan Wilcox in his office. Besides just contributing, I guess they're going to be changing the state flag this year. So they had all of the city councils in the Capitol to draw and contribute. And then after that, we were like, okay, we're going to go do something more exciting now. And we went and toured the House and the Senate and hooked up, used our connections and went and met with Ryan in his office. And then Amy had a connection at the treasurer's office. That was it. That was awesome. And then, we had to cut him off. No, he talked about investing, and then he got into some interesting people that he thought, anyway, that's a story for another day. That was interesting, but it was really cool, and the kids had a great time. And so they're going to be coming to council in February and observing and want to meet with the police. You know how you mentioned Ron might be coming to share some information about Weaver High. We would like them to be here to be present when he
We've
does.
tentatively scheduled that for the 22nd of February.
Awesome.
And do you remember when we met with Ryan, he'd asked to be notified of when we have that. So I asked the
They
chief.
will
to
be
put it
here
after the
February 8th and
session.
also the next
Okay.
session. And we have a lot of kids who have been really involved and want to be a part of this.
Who's our
legislative
representative in the city council now?
There's not an official one. We're letting them take turns.
I haven't seen anybody.
I know, but they're going to come give a report next month. So.
Is there a season where we do those? Is that
School season.
It is school year?
They're done in May-ish, and then Allison always did a big recruitment for Founder's Day. Then they, to get them to come out for Founder's Day and start kind of anew. So there's like 35.
It's really good on their college application. I know that part.
Yes, we've already been getting emails with, hey, can you send us pictures? Can you write letters of recommendation? Because a lot of people are applying for scholarships right now. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. And RAMP does meet February 2nd. So that's when people will be assigned to you guys. Thank you.
Dave?
I don't have anything tonight.
Steve?
This is going to be this work study topic, but I mentioned to Amy, I really think we need to get an update on our reservoir and utilizing that Weaver Basin water.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know where it is, and if it's progressing, great. But I'd like, in some sort of report, and maybe Amy, are you working on that to get that?
Tyson and I have discussed it, yes.
What are you paying for?
I mean,
water
yeah,
that
we're paying for water
using?
we're not using, and I'm really scared if we have a drought, we've got to have some, because that, we're a year, 2 years by the time we build the reservoir and do all that stuff. So
Yeah, we'll report on that.
I want to
See where we are at
what's
on the
going on.
property acquisition. We're trying really hard on that.
Just keep going.
No.
Even if, and I don't want to bond, but I know we have a lot of money in the water and in those areas, but get a good idea of what it's going to really cost, and we're under obligation to do it.
Right. It's under contract. So
When does it have to be?
5 years ago,
Well,
4 years ago.
They've extended it.
Yeah.
But anyway, just, again, work study we can talk about, but I just want to get it out there that I think it's important. And I look at those mountains with no snow, and I wonder where all our drinking water comes from. I mean, there's a bottom somewhere. So, well, and I trust you with that, Tyson. I'm not saying anything like that, but we're having a huge amount of growth west of Pleasant View Drive, which is that tier 1, which this well would affect, won't it? Pretty much all that new below.
Yeah.
So Evergreen or that.
Yeah, the more you put in down here, the more.
The less we're going to have up there, as long as I don't have to have the Weaver Basin water in my house.
So how many years did we get as far as the extension for the?
I don't know that they really didn't give us a time frame. They're just like, as long as we're working on it. I brought it up a couple of DRCs ago and said we really need to make this a priority. So we've got the. We'll report on it. We'll do a detailed report instead of a half report.
6 years
Anything
ago,
else, Steve?
about the water. 6.
We turned that pump on 4 years ago. That was one of the very first things I did.
It hasn't been turned on since.
Well, we made the agreement 6 years ago.
Yeah, but the agreement was about 6 years.
We made in the system.
Very first thing when I got on.
Yeah, no, and I give you all props for that. I mean, you've done everything in our current system, and that was kind of a panic buy. But I still think we need to have that in place, especially as we grow, as we build out.
We're still legally obligated to have that.
And we've signed on it to do it.
Just whatever the pump system is, as it should. So we run it specifically at a lower capacity to try not to create problems for ourselves and other water systems.
I don't think Phil can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
So what about, you like this new area on 2600? Apparently that's not even tied into this system. So we got a pipe running right up 600.
So start where you said.
But east of 600, we don't have any water.
No, so as you fix leaks, your source capacity is here, and we were here. We're fixing leaks that brought you further away from that. So when I took over, you were running each well. We put in the Hell's well. That one ran intermittently even at that point. But between then, we fixed enough issues throughout the system. We've turned off 2 wells. So the last 2 wells that Pleasant View City put in because of fixes in-house.
And Tyson, I absolutely acknowledge all of that. I mean,
but we can turn it on though, just to clarify. You
have done a wonderful job at fixing all of the holes that we're just running water into the groundwater. And that's wonderful. And if we have another 10 years worth of water out of these wells, great. But we bought, I don't know how much we bought. Laurie, how much was it? How much do we pay in a year for that water?
100
something thousand. So that's $600,000 that we paid, and I don't know if we have used 3 drops of it because we can't really utilize it. to do that. So I just want to see where we are. If it's not needed, then that's fine.
Part of that is our pumping cost. It's cheaper to use the water from
All
our
right,
wells.
let's bring this back on our work session. And
Sorry.
Here. No, and I can bring more info.
okay, thank you. Is that it? Okay, Phil, can we hear him?
No, nothing at all.
Oh, perfect. All right. All right. All my stuff we'll take care of in the next meeting. So, now closed meeting. Entertain a motion to go into a closed meeting to, let me get the official wording, discuss character, competence, and a person's character, competence, or health
I'll make a motion that we go into a closed meeting
for that piece.
for,
As stated.
as stated.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by, Aaron, second by Mary. Okay, roll call. So, Harrington?
Yes.
Yuri?
Yes.
Marriott? Gibson? Nelson?
Yes.
Okay, we're in a closed meeting. Yeah, we're gonna wait just a minute to get YouTube shut off and all the stuff shut off and